Hi, I'm Dr. Paul, and welcome to How to Hire, Train, and Manage Associate Doctors, which is unbelievably important. Why? Because A, it's the easiest source of passive income. It's relatively inexpensive when you know what you're doing, and it'll create a six-figure income. And the other reason, it creates freedom. So that's what we teach. So of course, the first thing that we always have to learn is the four categories of have a highly profitable practice, because if you don't know how to do that, you can't replicate it. And those have to be systems because you can't replicate personalities. So that has to happen first. Now, the second step to create freedom, the easiest source of passive income, is how to hire, train, manage associate doctors. Good and bad news there is I found there's about 5 different types of associate doctors and about 7 different kinds of associate doctor business models. And the reason 70% of them don't work out is doctors, it's almost like they don't know that, and they'll take the wrong type of associate doctor and put them in the wrong type of business model. It's like, trying to put a square hole in a round peg. It doesn't work. That's why it doesn't work 70% of the time. Now, we know how to do that. So we know the different models. We know the 5 types of associate models, 7 types of models. So we know what fits, number 1. We know the systems, number 2. And then we know the 4 steps to train it. And there you go. That's the formula. And it can cost as little, because remember, as soon as they go into profit, it doesn't cost you any more money. Some doctors think it costs, $70,000, $80,000, $100,000 having an associate doctor. That's not true at all. When you know what you're doing and you know how to train the associate doctor, they'll break even in 30, 60 days, no more than 60 days. Because remember, it only takes as little as maybe 13, 15 patient visits at a $50 per visit to break even for their base salary. So there's no more money going out. You're done. In other words, you're done. So 2 months out paying their salary, you're done. You broke even. The money they're making now pays for their salary and more. So that's why typically it only takes us about $6,000. And if they only see 80 visits a week at a $50 per visit, and even if you split it 50-50, and I'm talking low numbers, you'll make over $100,000 passive income. Now, for you to do that in your own office, to be able to have $100,000 in passive income, you would have had to make $16 million at a 50% overhead to have $8 million, at 50% overhead or taxes to have $4 million. So put $4 million in the bank at about 2.5% interest rate to get your $100,000 passive income. That's why it doesn't happen. So I can either spend $6,000, know how to hire, train, and manage associate doctors to make $100,000 in passive income, or it's going to take me $16 million to put that money in stocks, mutual funds to make passive. That's the difference it makes. So having the systems in place first becomes paramount, because you can't go to associate doctors if you don't know the systems to how to maximize your profitability. But as soon as we do that, then we have to know how to hire and train associate doctors, put those systems in place, and that's when life gets really exciting. That's when it creates freedom. You can work part-time. A lot of my clients, when they know all this, they work part-time, and actually several years, a lot of times they just say, I just want to manage. I don't want to practice anymore. That's what they do. Now they just manage and leverage off their time and money through associate doctors. So all of these are huge potentials, and when you don't know it, you're stuck. You're in your office, you have to stay in your office, and you got to show up Monday morning. Can't take very many vacations, you don't have much freedom, and your income's the worst. It's earned income, and it's limited because you have limited time. I'm not limited by associate doctors. And with that income, I can either make it capital gains. I can even structure it where it's even tax-free, depending on the business model that I use. So these are all the differences it makes, and that's what I did. So that's how we opened 77 offices in 20 states. So that's what we do. So if you're interested, just sign up here. You already know if you hit the subscribe button, it'll show you more of my videos, when you go online. And if you really want to know when the videos are posted, in other words, right off the bat, hit the bell, and you'll be the first one to know. And if you have any more, we also do seminars, workshops, and training, so you can access how to hire, train, and manage associate doctors.